All right, how you doing, everybody? It's Flat Earth Nation. Don't ever let them tell you anything else. I just wanted to show you something here. I was just going back to Europe looking for more star forts and things like that. Just having fun learning. And I came to this part here. Not only does it say sorry, no imagery at this level. Did you see that? What I got a picture of when I first came in? It was like it said flat Earth map. Now it's not showing that even. I want to go back a page and then forward. See, here's what I was looking at. And then I wanted to, they're like, nah, I'm going to look for another country. And there was a list of them somewhere because I only went back one. Once again, my love of the European star fort. Anyway, I'm just going to hit the forward button. Oh, did you see that? At least I got a picture of it. Pretty sure I did. Right there. Just took it. See? That's what popped up. I think you saw the beginning of it, and it had this weird date on it. It's an 8. Pretty weird, huh? Because it was these all were the countries that were listed, and it doesn't show the one I searched for, Lupinka or something like that. It was one I hadn't really heard of. Like some of these, they must be, in the common language of that area. So anyway, that's weird, right? That was weird. Let's see another one. Let's check this out. Well, there we go. They don't have any images of the Adriatic Sea on this one. How about Mount Everest? Flat Earth? Let's see. Yep, that's flat Earth. Hmm. That's not too annoying, is it? Anyway, this is the picture they have on their website of this geobios.com. No, that's not too Illuminati with the one ideal thing, is it? If I had the time, I'd cut this out, zoom in on this area right there because there's some subliminals going on there. Anyway, there's more weird crap going on. And I don't want to say, but I thought I saw earlier that this stuff was from like 2005. To be honest with you, I got here from this website, which I started with this abstract here. I've been trying to figure out. I mean, look at this language. Is this intentionally obfuscating? We review here the problematic history of the Nomen, Hyperion, CF, Ethiopicurium, and Hugier's efforts to bring some taxonomic sense to the later Paleocene Paleistocene Epeirian record. He's talking about the tracing the genetics of horses. I'm pretty sure about that. And well, as other specimens referred to and related to this species, we have considered additional specimens from the contemporaneous horizons. That's just something to make a long word look hard to people who don't want to read it, in order to reevaluate the efficacy of Ethiopian and its apparent relative Eurygnathic Hippopotamus Cornelianus. Oh, what's your favorite planet? Uranus. And species believed by Huissier to be evolutionary related to Hyperion of the Copian. I think they're talking about horses. We undertake statistical and comparative analysis to clarify these hypodiums. Zussam Merfastrongs were Bischefrag. Okay, now we just switched to another language, and I think these are just trying to throw us off, you know, because it kind of switches back and forth here. And so I've done some more research, and you know, these things just don't do it. So, but anyway, by doing that, I ended up somehow on this evolutionary game, because they had mentioned let me roll up here and see exactly what they call it, evolutionary game theory. The evolutionary game theory, EGT, is the application of game theory to evolving populations of life forms in biology. EGT is useful in this context by defining a framework of contest strategies, analytics, into which Darwin competition can be modeled. EGT originated in 1973 with John Maynard Smith, you probably have heard of him, George R. Price, formalization of the way in which such contests can be analyzed as strategies and the mathematical criteria that can be used to predict the resulting prevalence of such competing strategies. Long story short, what they're trying to sell here is, and it'd be too hard to just find the one quote. Maybe it is in this one first problem section. Yeah, perfect. Amen. His main argument is, you know, we've all seen some of the films where like they're chasing the lion, but overall, if you study, you're going to come to the same questions that he had. Why are animals so gentlemanly or ladylike in contest for resources? This was a problem that was leading ethologist Nico Tinbergen and Konrad Lorenz were trying to address. They were leading. Tinbergen proposed that such behavior exists for the benefit of the species. Maynard Smith couldn't see how this reasoning matched Darwinian thought. It's not, I know, it's survival of the fittest. Then they're acting like gentlemen. Ladies. More ladylike than some ladies I know. Just couldn't shake it. Not as he understood it. Where selection occurs at an individual level, and therefore defections to self-interest are rewarded while seeking the common good is not. And that is not the way it works. You ever see a group of birds fly? Or fish swim? Or gazelles run on the Serengeti? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Amazing. They are a hive mind. They are a group think, man, when those birds doing that. You know, I have seen in Colorado, I've seen in other, you know, in Illinois and other places too, just masses of birds, you know, clouds of them that are just, it's crazy and pretty. And what they did was they used these numbers to try to figure it out and say, well, it works for evolution, but that's why that survival of the fittest. Oh, I'm going to make sure you can see my hands going like swooping it away. Shoot that away, whatever it was. And just another thing. And at the bottom list here, it had something about. I didn't understand the term. There was a lot about the theoretic modeling, and so I think I hit just game theory, and that was pretty interesting. And then it went to I looked up this, and then inbreeding, and where was I here? True breeding organism, yeah. How to what they call it, and because I was looking at problems of royalty and stuff like that, and genetics of some of them, and how prevalent was that for people to marry their cousins. It's something that until 4 years ago when I finally, thank God, got out of the situation with my wife, and I was able to stand up and be a man and say, I am not taking antidepressants. I'm not taking your crap. I didn't know it had fluoride in it. I just knew it didn't work, and it just made you fat and stupid. And since I walked away from all of that, and for the last 3 years, it's like I hardly drink. I mean, I smoke a little weed, but believe me, man, my system is good. I mean, I can exhale 7.5 liters of oxygen. I had to do that when I had to do that test for asbestos. I was 56 at the time. I don't know how I do now. It's 2 years ago. And then I think I went to inbreeding. You've got to see this one list if this is the one I'm thinking of. I hit it for royalty or something like that, and it said something about cousin marriage. Maybe that was it. But that was it. Because it seems like all these people that I'm running into, and studying are marrying their cousins. It's just the weirdest thing, And they were doing the world alliance theory. And let's see, where's that super long list at? Don't worry, I'm not going to get stuck on this, going crazy and wasting your time. It's not right here. I'll find it. There was another list. How do you do that? History stuff. Inbreeding. This will be worth it. You're not going to believe this. It wasn't cousins. List of couple cousins. Maybe that's it. Yeah. Notable commoners. This is 90% of United States founders, philanthropic magnates, oil barons. You've heard of a lot of people on this list. And look at this toolbar over here, folks. Get ready for a long list of incestuous artists, theologians, historians, founders of college, Harvard, half our presidents and all that. Yeah, they're just like royalty incest people, man. They dig it. It's the same thing. It's all part of the same plan. I've been right for 2 years. That's why I've got a new attitude now. It's like, we're not looking for answers anymore. I'm looking for one person to step up and say, hey, here's where you're wrong. I've got 100 videos. I think I've got 80 of them left on there or something like that. And they're right. I came out as somebody who, as a Christian, went to geocentrism, much to my family's dismay, 15 years ago, because that's what the Bible taught. And I didn't care. I wasn't arguing. I was just ready to go like, well, it doesn't seem like it's moving to me. You know, the Bible says it's fixed. And so, you know, and Joshua said, sun be still. And then later on, God said, Joshua prayed, let the sun be still. And I obeyed him, for I love him. So there's confirmation from God. It was not. God doesn't mince words. I stopped it. And it's not a big deal. It's all a mechanical thing. It's a wheel inside a wheel. You know? I know you're hip on LA Law and NCIS and the Kevin Spacey with Washington, D.C. and all those cool hip shows. You probably love Jimmy Fallon and Neil Patrick Harris, and you just love them all, man. You can't wait till their next show comes on TV because they're good. They're funny. They're so awesome, man. And they're all propped up like these guys you're about to see on this list. John Adams, John Adams' son, Mary Louise Adams. We'll just keep that going. Granddaughter of John Quincy Adams, Mary Garner Adams, Ali, Prince Ali, Mark Antony, Octavia the Younger. Have you heard of this guy? Josiah Bartlett, second signer of the Declaration of Independence. Christine Boutin, Louis Vuitton, Vanna Brown Braun. He's a nice Nazi that they brought over in Operation Paperclip. Don't know what that is? You should have been watching my videos, family. You'd be so far ahead of the game right now. Instead of sitting around going like, oh my God, you mean it's true? Yeah, it's true. There's another president, vice president. Fluoride Calhoun. Jeez, why get stuck with that name? Calvert, if you don't know, very, very prominent name. Oh my goodness, it's real big. Carols of Carrollton, the only Roman Catholic signer of the only admitted Roman Catholic signer of the Declaration of Independence. He was in love with his cousin. Charles Darwin loved his cousin. Wedgwood, you probably heard of them. They've been, you know, you'll see them on the list. Oh, there they are. Oh, there's another one. Oh, DuPont, you ever heard of them? Yeah. Andrew Jackson Donaldson. Yeah, that is the Andrew Jackson president. Let's see. I could be wrong. Yep, I'm wrong. Oh, but look at that. He's a Nashville, Tennessee guy. And his uncle or whoever it was, he founded Memphis. I proved that in my other video that he bought before he ran the Indians out. Keep going here. Endicott, you know, you heard of that guy, Secretary of War. Always in position to be in war when we need him. Just the way the Jesuits, the Rosicrucians love it. There's only one sign in it because they go deep underground and they don't mind playing the game of like, hey, I'll wait 30, 40 years. I'll wait 50 years. They got a long-term plan here, and it's all geared towards your deception. Okay. Vivian Fuchs was in love with his cousin Joyce. So this seemed like they got that kind of, what the heck's going on there? John F. Fitzgerald, former mayor of Boston, grandfather of Roman Catholic John F. Kennedy, and his speech warning the people about the, oh, watch out. That is so fake. That's a hoax. If you read that in the context, he's talking to the press club, telling them, hey, be on my side. See my video. It's easy to prove that. And they use it because they're trying to prop him up as like, well, he was trying to do what's right. That's the only reason they killed him. Right. I used to lean that way too because that's the way they were pushing us, you know. But it just takes a little bit of digging. All these people are famous, not because they're great, but because they're incestuous Illuminati freakazoids. That's why, and they get propped up. And you'll see other guys on this list. I had in high school, uh, they had your different honors programs and this and that, and your technical programs where you went to school for half a day. I didn't do any of them. I was in wrestling. I had all of my required classes done by the time I was like halfway through my sophomore year. I took 17 English credits my junior and senior year. And I didn't have to do that. And a lot of these people that they want us to read that are on this list, they sucked so bad. And they were still trying to shove them down our throat. Yeah, Rudy Giuliani, he's on there. Benjamin Harrison, revolutionary leader. Monta Hall, I think he was a game show host or something. I don't know. Oliver Wendell Holmes, poet, lawyer, hack. Saddam Hussein. But there's a surprise. You didn't know that he worked for the CIA? Thomas Jefferson, he was not only in love with Sally, he loved Martha. John Kerry, cousin to George Bush. Would it really matter who won the election? Both of them in Skull and Bones. Both of them went to Yale. Both of them had a C- grade average. Have you studied John Kerry's war record? Stolen valor. I'm a vet. I'll kick his ass. Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, weird guy. Pretty talented. John McDonnell, Canada first Prime Minister. Mao Zedong. Wow. How about that? Abraham Maslow. Oh my goodness. He was very influential. Here's Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, the son of this guy here. Yeah, he loved Leslie. Loved his cousin more than anybody else in the whole world. All the people he met, he loved his cousin. There's Edgar Allan Poe, that weird freak. Weird man. Yeah, they're gonna push him down our throat, and nobody reads Kenneth Roberts. Nobody even knows who Kenneth Roberts is. Roosevelt. Wait until you wait till you see these Rothschilds. We got more Roosevelts, Rothschilds, Rothschilds. Ooh, Rohini. So the president of Iran loved his cousin Shabiba. He loved her with all his heart. Alfonso Taft. These are all very familiar names. I haven't read any of that. Mark Van Buren. He was a punk. Followed Andrew Jackson. See the videos. Land grabber. Illegal. Broke tons of treaties in the 1830s. He would have started in 1838, following up and enforcing the laws that the Supreme Court struck down and said, no, you can't kick those Indians off the land. That's their property. And he said, where's your army to back you up? Hey, you guys, get them out. Trail of Tears time. Well, okay, now see, just a quick royalty here. This will just take a second. We get this is the family of common ancestor, cousins. It's pretty weird. Do you know what else is weird? And I want you to notice this too, because this, can relate to the other videos in your mind when you see that. Look how many princesses and princesses, kings and kingdoms there were. And we look at it as, Well, today there's 66 countries. They're probably maybe 70, 80 at a time, and they just kind of flip it back. This whole statism thing is brand new, brand new, brand new. Since World War II, everybody had kings. Everybody had kings except the United States. And the reason that I've gone over it so many times, it's a World Wrestling Federation match. The United States could not have defeated Great Britain in a war. They couldn't have defeated General Cornwallis. He never lost a battle. He never lost a battle. And after he surrendered to George Washington, and what were the big wars leading up to that from 1776 to 1887? Name me big wars. Name me one big war. Don't say Bunker Hill, that was before. Lexington, that was before. Don't say Valley Forge. What was the big battles? That's 8 years. I mean, that's 12 years. That's 12 years of war before we finally, George, General, we're here, take my sword. And so, what happens, man? I mean, when you're Mike Tyson and you just lost to Pee Wee Herman and you have to go back to England, what do you think they're going to say? You probably didn't expect to get promoted unless you knew it was okay for you to surrender. When you read about the War of 1812, it was a joke. The Civil War, that's made up history. The battle, the whole war was won when that scared General McClellan, thank God, he found the whole battle plans the day before when a soldier was just out sneaking around looking at someone that might have been laying on the ground, and he found 3 cigars wrapped in paper. And that paper had all the plans of where the enemy was. So even he was a timid general and kind of drug the war on for years while everybody was making money. They finally said, oh, God has delivered this into our hands. Manifest destiny. Hallelujah. 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 Praise his name. I renounced my vow when I joined the Army today to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I'll be fighting common enemies of humanity, but not for the Constitution. Not for the Constitution, because I have too much proof of what people like President Jackson and, at least enough of the population, just like with Trumpster and everybody else, somehow, it's always like, 48, 52, 47, 53, 49, 51, a lot of 50-50s. George Bush wasn't the first person elected with an electoral decision and lost a popular vote. It's happened, I think it was Cleveland or something like that. But it did happen before. So it was, it's unusual, it's weird. But, I mean, how in the world, there's only one way that someone like Donald Trump could get elected. Run Hillary Clinton. Someone who, unless you are only tapped into mainstream media, she's a homosexual, lesbian, pedophile, and her husband is too, and that they hang out with Jeffrey Epstein, and they're just these emails and stuff that have been released and not talked about, and they call it, oh, watch out for fake news. People, that's not fake news. Those are real emails. Those are real names. Those are real people. Those dates you can check and see. They went to those parties where they were, mixing in a big stew and then putting in semen and blood and then all the, other herbs and stuff. And then they come to the point of putting their fingers over the cauldron, cut their finger, drip the blood in it, and eat the pain. And there's pictures of John Podesta the next day holding his hand up. He's got bandings all over his hands, or on the one hand, and scars everywhere. This is it. It doesn't matter. They're not going to come for me. They're not going to come for you. But the truth is out there. And it's so overwhelming. The proof is so overwhelming that, all you have to do is look one time and go like, well, I know they're liars about taxes and stuff like that, but this is just way too big. Well, what does the Bible say? How big it will be? How big of a deception will be? If it were possible, even the elect could be deceived. Well, there's part of the problem right there. Because for the last 30 years of my Christian walk, very few of my friends and not many of my family ever wanted to hear about that word elect that's in the Bible like 600 times in different forms, called, chosen, predestined, elect. They're all written off. Not possible. Why isn't it possible? That's what the Bible says. Because everybody knows we have free will. That's what they say. I mean, it's like, wow. Okay. And I always just be like, well, man, I don't want to upset you, but that's what Martin Luther believed, and John Calvin, and Augustine, and Warfield, and I could just name everybody that from the past, all the Puritans, everybody that were the real Christians that came here, like in the mid 1600s and stuff like that. That was a good group of people, and they had their liars in there. It's not a hidden secret. It's not something that takes really a lot of faith to believe if you start looking at history. But if you are afraid, especially afraid of what other people are going to think about you, say about you, question you, oh, that's different, I'll tell you the thing, and I came out today, and like one of the things with, I became a Christian. I was in the Army, but about the same time as my sister became a Christian. And we both started in charismatic churches. I probably started questioning some of the charismatic aspects of it, not only because I didn't prophesy or anything like that, or it didn't hit me, but I saw some of the things that my brother-in-law Steve, who's a highly trained and professional singer, and his family is too, and and he would sing at these big, not. He might have sang at some of the Billy Graham ones or something like that, but I know they were pretty big, but mostly Pentecostal ones. And he would tell some story sometime about how these guys are slaying the spirit, and Steve's not like that, man. He would get slain in the spirit if that's what was going on, but he said this guy, he kept trying to, he's healing everybody, and Steve was singing, and he came over and kept trying to push him down and push him down, and Steve said, eventually got to the point where he was going like, oh, you want to play games? And Steve was just like leaning forward like that. It's one of my best memories, and it just got to be too much for me, and the personal offense was taken that how could you leave the charismatic faith, like I was leaving Christ, and then wait a minute, you believe the Puritans, the Presbyterians? Yes, I do. I believe the Huguenots. You ever heard of them? Maybe you should study them. Maybe you should study the Inquisition and everybody that Rome killed because they were Huguenots or Presbyterians. This is probably ingrained is why nobody wants to admit they believe in election. Because up until after, really World War I, it wasn't safe. Let me ask you, if you have any idea, when the Roman Catholic Inquisition officially ended, and we don't want to, go into that. And they kind of drug it on because, these guys didn't know, they didn't know, and it kind of went on a little bit more. But officially, it was supposed to have stopped when? Was it the 1500s, the 1600s, the 1700s, the 1800s, the 1900s? Was the last year? When was it? Mid 16s, mid 17s, mid 18s, mid 19s? It was mid 18s. It was the mid 1800s. Well into this country's development, well into Andrew Jackson's presidency, 7th president. 8th president was Van Buren, 1938. And one of the last letters from John Adams to his, new friend, Thomas Jefferson. They buried the hatchet and they started writing to each other and more. And I don't think John Adams, I don't know. I know Thomas Jefferson was a big phony, probably a Rosicrucian, Jesuit, punk, liar. I didn't, probably one of these freakazoid, marry your cousins, have sex with everybody, and kill them freaks or something, man. I don't know. But he seemed pretty freaky to me, and I really did like him. I did like him, and I liked a lot of these things they say. And if I was an evil person and somebody gave me a lot of money, I could convince 95% of you people that Andrew Jackson saved this country from the banks. And if we would only listen to his advice now, we wouldn't have to worry about the big bag Federal Reserve. That's the way they do it. They're going to bring back a monster as a hero. Those that hate God love death and celebrate only evil. That's what they love. What do you love? I love the way the Lord is blessing me, the way the Lord is, showing me how the love of money can affect us and our walk with Him so much. And it is hard, and trust can be hard, but I'll tell you, when the first year I came out to Colorado Springs, I had some money and stuff like that. I was supposed to, sell the house, and boom, I'd have a lot of money and stuff. Went through a lot of troubles with my wife. I'll say it on the record. She tried to cheat me. I've got all the proof. Come and get me, Sue. You can't sue me for libel because I've got the paperwork. You lied about 6 different things in the papers you tried to trick me into signing. And that took me 3 years to work out. 2 of them, I was considered homeless for over a year. I was couch surfing. And I ended up taking a test, learning how to do asbestos abatement. They put me into a house, turned out to be a meth house. Then they wouldn't take me out. I had to deal with people stealing the few things I had left from the first eviction when Sue was lying to me about when the money was coming and stuff like that. I got evicted 2 weeks after. Austin came and visited me twice. My daughter Shelby and her boyfriend came to visit me. I spent all my money, the last money I had with them. A week later, I was evicted. And, nobody cared. Nobody cared. It was just like, well, you made your bed and lie in it. And so I did. And I always had those verses saying, gosh, I'm homeless. What am I going to do? I got This job, that job, I'm pretty good about. I mean, remembering things, what values are, this and that. I made money. If you want to look it up, you can go look in the look on the websites. What was the name of that one? Anyway, there's 3 leagues in Colorado Springs for poker, and I found out that they pay $50 if you win, 25 bar tab for food if you don't, or if you get second, 10 for third, or 15. Guess who became the 3rd best poker player in Colorado Springs? Me. It's on the website. It'll say right there. It'll be a picture of me, Alan Eyeliner guy. 2 years as a homeless person, a straight homeless person who never had any homosexual contact or intent, just wearing eyeliner. Just wearing eyeliner a lot of times like an Egyptian, like you'd see the guys that were Egyptian. When people do, they'd be just like, oh, I'm an artist. That's just what I do. Just try to be different, just to see what people, what they think of that. They had, I made friends. If you don't hit on guys 20 times, they pretty much figure out you're not going to hit on them. And if I wasn't really looking for a girlfriend, but if you ever, I like girls, girls like me. And so it was hard though. And the reason I did that was because I have a gay nephew who had the nerve to tell me one time that I had never been judged because I'm white. I'm a white man. I used to be a successful white man. And now just white man is, cowboy wannabe, Indian wannabe, not even really a cowboy wannabe anymore now, because there really was no such thing as the cowboys. The Buffalo Soldiers were in the, mostly in the 1880s. And I mean, most people think that's pretty much after the cowboy era and everything like that, because I mean, cars were coming, they were right around the corner, 1892, 1893, with steam electric cars. It's all there. Look at all these married cousins and crap. These are the people ruling the world. These are the people ruling the world. And what I was getting to is that the 1866, the 1904, we're still seeing princes of Albany, Denmark. Well, that's not Prince Maria of Orleans married the Duke of Württemberg. Parma. Have you even heard of these? There were so many countries, so many kings. Duke of Calabria. These are not states. Community of Belgium, Archduke of Austria-Est. They were not just states of where, like, all of a sudden, and it certainly is beyond any doubt and provable that nobody cared about Rome. The Roman Catholic Church they're the mother church. Nobody was buying that. That is all after the fact history of after the Jesuits, the Rosicrucians, reestablished in, I think John, I was going to get to that point. John Adams, one of his last letters to Thomas and Jefferson's, mentioned to Thomas Jefferson, he goes, I have just heard that the Pope has reinstated the Jesuit order, and I think that could be a death knell for humanity or something like that. It was melodramatic. It was super melodramatic. Like super. Okay. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. I am getting dry, and if you have made it this far, you're a hero. Can't believe it. It's amazing, but thank you. And stick around because I am, look at that, was going to be a short one. It's 45 minutes. You're right. I'm a lecturer. But I am going to take a break, get a drink. I'm going to come back, change my shirt, And I'm going to read my 2 new poems. They're ass kicking. One of them is called 50 Shades of Betrayed. I don't care if I copy that or not. You know that's going to get used. But I like it now because when I put things out on YouTube, I can always go back and say, hey, I said that first. 50 Shades of Betrayed. That's what we all are. Come on, folks, we don't want to see it. And in the second poem, I rhyme the word purple for your entertainment fun. Rhyming purple with Alan and the Flat Earth Nation. Whatever let them tell you it's anything else.